Hello, and welcome to Medicine for Your Soul, a show about flower essences and how you can create recipes to take care of your emotions. My name is Carolyn Jones. I'm a holistic health practitioner. Certifications are in acupuncture detoxification, herbalism, aromatherapy, flower essences, reflexology, and I incorporate sound therapy and spiritual care in my work. If you want to read more about what I'm doing in the community, please visit my website, www.behealed.info. These are two other books that I've written: Pick Up Your Bed and Walk, a self care guide to improve health, which is an introduction to plant medicine and how you can help yourself, and Incantations, which has over 100 affirmations so you can learn how to speak about yourself in a more positive way. The book that we're highlighting for this program is Medicine for Your Soul, Essential Oils, Hydrosols, and Flower Essences. And in this book, there are 20 recipes for misters, spray misters, and they can be used for mind body alignment and subtle energy attunement. We're going to talk more about that later. They address emotional imbalances, and the formula is based on number one, essential oils. Now, essential oils are highly concentrated plant extracts, and they're obtained through distillation or cold pressing. They're used for their therapeutic properties, and they support emotional well being, skin health, and physical balance. The next part of the formula are hydrosols. They're aromatic waters produced during steam distillation of plants for essential oil, and they contain small amounts of essential oil compounds along with water-soluble plant components. They're also gentle, definitely a water-based way to access plant therapy, and they're used for mental, emotional, and spiritual support. And the star of the Mister formula are flower essences, which have a very interesting history. Dr. Edward Bach, who was a British doctor, bacteriologist, homeopath, and spiritual writer, was best known for developing Bach flower remedies. You may have heard of them. They're a form of alternative medicine inspired by classical homeopathic traditions. He noticed that people with similar emotional and personality traits tended to develop similar illnesses. This led him to believe that disease originated first in the mind and emotions, not the body. He did in-depth research, and it was rooted in his spiritual worldview and intuitive sensitivity. He developed a healing system that used the energetic imprint of flowers, and it proved to be gentle and non-toxic, accessible to everyone. So even if someone is on a lot of medication and they choose to ingest flower essences, certainly not this formula because it has essential oils in it, then it would not have contraindications. He identified 7 categories of fundamental conflicts which prevent us from being true to ourselves. They are loneliness, oversensitivity to influences and ideas, despondency or despair, overcare for the welfare of others. I'm running across that a lot lately in my consultations, and people are very distraught because they've given up themselves so much, but yet they have not been reciprocated in kind with the same frequency of love and care. Fear, uncertainty, and insufficient interest in present circumstances were the others. Now, the Flower Essence Society is a nonprofit educational organization, and it was founded by Patricia Kaminsky and Richard Katz in 1979. So they've continued his work. They're dedicated to the research, preparation, and teaching of flower essence therapy. There is a traditional sun infusion method. You have to use harvest due fresh flowers and float in water, then expose in direct sunlight for several hours to extract the vibrational imprint of the flower to affect the person or animal, because they do have them for pets, on a subtle, non chemical level. Now, in using flower essences, you can use them many different ways. Orally, drops and pasteles. I love the pasteles. They're like gummies, diluted in water. Topically, you can put them on your pulse points, your wrists, behind your ears, over your heart. And in your baths and foot soaks, compresses, creams, oils, and lotions. And for inhalation, you can steam with them. And of course, the misters. As I mentioned before, they're water-based, safe for children and pets, and not contraindicated for pharmaceutical medications. That's very important. So I like to write a poem for each one of our sessions. And since the word of the day is focus, that's the title of the poem. Mirror gaze yourself into another realm. Promise yourself a brand new day. Laser focused within yourself. Learn to love a softer way. Harness your thoughts. Straddle your hope. Get on board. No time to mope. Dream yourself into a safer space. Push yourself to win this race. Teach yourself the rules of the game. Embrace intention and discard blame. Propel yourself to higher skies. You have the power. Open your eyes. Abundance surrounds your every move. Believe in your power, your worth, your groove. And with that said, I would also like to mention that I am wearing a necklace created by one of my favorite writer friends, Jamila. And she gave me this beautiful piece, beautiful feathers on it. And I'd like to give her a public thank you. Thank you, Jamila. The information that I chose to bring to you to run alongside the Mister of the Day is from the Tibetan book, of Living and Dying. The bardo is what we're going to focus on. The bardo means an intermediate or transitional state between two conditions of existence. Explained from a metaphysical perspective, it's what happens at the moment the body begins to disengage from life. So in operating through the elements, you have the earth. And the earth is represented in our body by flesh, bones, and the solid constituents. Water is represented by our blood, the phlegm, and our bodily fluids. Fire is represented by body temperature and metabolism, so you know as the Soul and spirit begin to disengage from the physical form. The body begins to get cold. Air is represented by the respiration. So we often hear of what's known as the death rattle. And that sound of air moving in the lungs while they're shutting down is part of our respiration. But the bottle is not just associated with death. It can also be recognized as a major life transition, a period of uncertainty, a time for reflection, transformation, and spiritual growth. I'm sure you've heard it said that when you're going through what seems like the worst of times, if you just keep going, it may be the moment right before the breakthrough. That's proven itself to be many times in my life to be true. The bottle is an opportunity to lose the old self and welcome the eternal self. So it's a form of dying and getting rid of the old self and letting the eternal self be born. So rather than being a wilderness in which to survive, the bardo is a sanctuary in which to awaken. Flower essences and the bardo are sacred companions because they offer gentle guidance during times of emotional, spiritual, and energetic transition. Flowers teach us patience. They don't rush to bloom. In the bardo, the soul teaches us to surrender, listen, and become. The quiet companionship of the bardo and flower essences invites courage in the face of fear, comfort in times of grief, trust in the face of doubt, and peace when the soul is distressed. Awakening from the bardo promises a deeper awareness in the bosom of creation. When the old life falls away, distractions lose their grip. What once demanded our attention no longer has the same power. You reclaim your mind, your body, and your soul. Quiet surrender allows the soul to regroup. Rebirth is intense and requires confidence, humility, and peace. Be still and know. When attention blossoms, transformation follows. So, in looking at the word focus, let's see what flower essences appear in the recipe. We have lamb's ear, which helps with emotional vulnerability, promotes a deep sense of comfort, and connects to gentle, calming energies. And you see how fluffy they look, how soft. They look gentle. And for the essential oil, we have neroli. That opens the heart chakra, releases fear and anxiety, and assists in cultivating divine love. It also supports communication. The white sage hydrosol purifies the aura and the environment, enhances clarity, and helps release spiritual entanglements or heavy emotions. I dare say, even by itself. This quote by Muhammad Ali caught my attention. It's the repetition of affirmations that leads to belief. And once that belief becomes a deep conviction, things begin to happen. He certainly illustrated that with his life. So we have to remember to be a careful, compassionate listener. So Close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. Release and repeat after me. I am a careful, compassionate listener. Take another deep breath. Hold it and release. Repeat after me. I will not listen with my triggers. I will be fully present so that I can receive complete understanding. Thank you. Carl Gustav Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your heart, your own heart. So often we look into everyone else's heart and our heart is neglected. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. It's really something to focus on. Now, as we move toward the end of the program, I'd like to have you repeat after me. I always want to end the program this way. It's a quote by Louise Hay, and it says, I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. Let's repeat that 2 more times. I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. Now say it with conviction. I expect the very best in life, and I allow myself to receive it now. And with that, I urge you to make your own plant medicine. You can use this QR code if you want to take a look at the companion book to this course and see what you can do about this particular type of plant medicine. It's very effective. I've been using it for years and I enjoy it thoroughly. And I thank you. So before I part, I am going to check the chat and see who visited us today. Robin. Hi, Robin. Robin says, Robin is in Canada, by the way. She said, I always learn way more than I planned or anticipated when I pop into your classes. Thank you. And she mentioned loving the analogy. I would like to find out what you're referring to, Robin, if you could just put that in the chat. She said, you offer us so much to think about. Thank you, Robin. She said, love it. You're so wise. And she did receive my companion book and hopes that others do as well. And Jamila, thank you for coming. Jamila's in Maryland. She said, thank you for this valuable information. And as I mentioned before, let me give them a good look, Jamila. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? What a talent. And a wonderful writer as well. So with that said, I would like to indicate to you that Medicine for Your Soul is also being aired on Brick Arts Media. If you're in Brooklyn, you can see it on channel 951. And this live is on demand on Facebook and on YouTube on the Magickal Witchy World channel. So be sure you subscribe and hey, come out and learn more about flower essences and how you can support your emotions. What I learned recently is that your emotions can drive your blood pressure up. That's stress without you even knowing it. You might not even realize that you're stressed. So keep track of yourself, keep track of your health, and also allow the plants to support you. Much love and respect to you as well, Jamila. And thank you. Robin says it's so gorgeous. Okay. She loves it too, Jamila. And you're welcome. You're welcome, Robin. And I appreciate you all for coming out and spending some time with me. And look forward to seeing you next time. If I am not mistaken, I have to check for the next date. That's August 19th at 6 o'clock. We will be back. And the next thing we'll be concentrating on is protection. We're going to take a look at protection. And until then, I love you and have a beautiful, beautiful week. And the weeks to come should match it until we see each other again. Thank you.